It's definitely seeing the students develop, and in some cases a complete transformation that can come from them depending on the child coming in. But we have different people that sign up for these classes for different reasons. Some want to be actors. They've caught the acting bug, so they want to really hone in on a skill and a craft. And then for others, this is something that can be used for self-confidence and just being able to articulate yourself and actually have some leadership and go into a classroom and maybe never do acting at all, but when the teacher asks for someone's opinion, they can confidently raise their hand and say, "This is what I think." My goal is not to create the next award-winning actor, not even a little bit. My goal is to create a really good member of society, somebody that is really good at leadership and communicating themselves and can walk into a room and say, "This is how we make this a better place." And frankly, the arts, and especially acting classes, we're able to teach them how to do that. I can't give them the ideas, but I can help them figure out how to communicate the ideas. We focus on what are the skills of acting, but also how do you communicate something? How do you tell a story? How do you get your point across? Empathy is huge, just exploring the human experience in a way that, especially now with technology, I mean, they're not doing that the same anymore. So I think watching some of these students come in that are meek and they're not really able to communicate to you and how they feel, and by the time they walk out, it's like a different kid walking out of that room who's ready to take on the world. And we've seen that quite a bit. Learning one monologue and being able to get up in front of people and do it, that's great. That's an awesome skill to have. But having extensive repertoire, having an understanding of text analysis, being able to physically, and especially for some of these young people, they're going through maturity changes. We're actually seeing physical changes to their voice and their bodies and how they're handling that. Not to mention emotions and all the things that especially come with being a teenager. But I've got students as young as 8 and 9 years old, and to watch them develop, I mean, to start it and then to just end seems like such a missed opportunity for some of these very talented young people, or young people that don't even realize they have a talent, that we're being able to develop. People can take anything away from you but your education. It's the one thing that nobody could ever take from you. And the more we can develop that and cultivate that and foster that in these students' lives, the more it's going to have an impact on them and everyone around them and everyone that they touch. When you put more time into something, it's just the more room you're going to have to grow and develop. So with students that come in and take 1 or 2 classes, even that is valuable, but to see some of this transformation that we're talking about here, or to see a student start to really hone in on a skill and a craft, or really start to step outside of the box with their thinking and what they're able to do, I think that that takes time. I have so many students that have severe cases or issues with stress and anxiety and being bullied at school and some of these different things, that they are able to use these classes in a way that maybe none of them will become actors, and that's fine. But they're able to use this as a way to actually talk to people, and when dealing with conflict in their day-to-day life, they're able to use what they're learning in an acting class. I'm not one of those people that thinks that arts is the only way to go. I do think whenever it comes to kids' busy schedules nowadays, and especially looking at sports and athletics, those are hugely important and they're hugely valuable. I think though, whenever it comes to the arts, team building and collaboration and leadership training and being able to even physically. We are up on our feet, we're moving, we're getting our bodies going, and what we're doing is we're finding a way to connect our bodies to what's happening emotionally and in our hearts, and what's happening in our brains, and what's coming out of our mouths. We're finding a way to connect it all in a way that I think most other areas